If lately you have noticed that visible signs have decreased, if the synchronicities that once overwhelmed you suddenly seem faded, and if you are wondering with a hint of anguish if you have lost your connection with the divine, know that this message was manifested exactly for you at this precise moment. You have lost nothing, you have not gone backward, and above all, you have not been abandoned by the forces that guided your awakening. On the contrary, you have just graduated on the plane of matter, and the silence surrounding you is proof of your successful advancement toward a higher mastery. What I am about to reveal in this examination will determine whether everything you have activated so far will become a permanent structure in your DNA, or if it will dissolve like a dream that vanishes upon waking. This is Sophia Hakmua's last message regarding the emerald cycle you have laboriously completed. She will not repeat these instructions, not out of cruelty, but because in authentic Hermeticism certain keys are delivered only once. If you do not grasp them now, the opportunity evaporates into the void of linear time. Breathe deeply, for the feeling of emptiness you are experiencing is, paradoxically, the highest compliment that cosmic wisdom could pay you in this incarnation. No one prepares you for the moment when double numbers stop appearing with their previous frequency, or when you look at the sky waiting for a validation that does not come. In that silence, 99% of initiates fall into panic, convinced they have failed or made a fatal mistake that has driven Thoth and Sophia away from their path. The hermetic truth is the exact opposite. When the signs cease, it is because you have successfully completed the phase of the initial impulse. The Emerald Tablets teach that every evolutionary process lives through precise cycles. The first is that of the cosmic push, where the energy of the universe supports you without you having to make any effort. In that phase, intuitions explode in your mind and you feel invincible, but if that support lasted forever, you would never develop your own autonomous spiritual muscle. You would remain eternally dependent on an external stimulus, like a newborn attached to the breast. Sophia, in her infinite wisdom, has just cut the umbilical cord. She has stopped pushing you to see if you are capable of generating your own inner momentum, transforming the grace received into a sovereign and unstoppable force of will. Consecrate this decisive moment. Imprint your like as a seal of inner fire right here, now. And by adding an irrevocable hype, I will know that you have chosen to pedal toward your sovereignty, and that your soul is finally ready to reclaim the inescapable truth of one who no longer needs crutches to walk in the light. There is an abyssal difference between activation and crystallization, and the confusion between these two states is destroying the path of thousands of sincere seekers. Activation is a relatively simple process, comparable to lighting a match. You produce a sudden flame, everyone sees the light, but if you do not fuel it with your own substance, it goes out in seconds, leaving you in the dark. Crystallization is the alchemical act of taking the charcoal of your old self and, through immense pressure and calculated time, transforming it into an indestructible diamond. In recent months your frequency has risen, but it was still in a liquid and volatile state. It fluctuated depending on the environment, rose during meditation, and collapsed during a trivial argument. You were like water, powerful but without its own shape, capable of taking the shape of the container in which you were placed. Crystallization is the process through which you become solid. You become the diamond that does not change shape, but rather changes the surrounding environment through sympathetic resonance, forcing dense matter to align with your new and radiant inner geometry that now emanates a natural and immovable authority. But how does this definitive transformation toward the immortality of consciousness occur? Here lies the secret that many refuse to accept. One crystallizes through the pressure and friction of the daily world. You crystallize when everything around you tries to pull you back to your previous state and you, with firm sovereignty, categorically refuse to bend. When your family criticizes you because you have changed and you do not shrink back to please them. When old friends call you crazy and you do not abandon your truth to be accepted. When life tests you with financial losses or emotional disappointments and you maintain your emerald frequency regardless. Every time you resist external pressure without breaking, the crystal of your new self hardens. Every no said to your old identity solidifies the new architecture of your multidimensional DNA. This is not a punishment from the universe, but the final forging of your permanent frequency. Sophia now observes your behavior in the silence. For it is in the void of external signals that it is discovered who you truly are when no one applauds you and no miraculous sign flashes on your digital screen, revealing your true spiritual stature. In this crucial passage toward complete mastery, you will face 3 final tests that will manifest in your 3-dimensional reality, within the folds of your ordinary life. The first is the offer of the return. The universe will present you again with something from your past that you thought you had resolved. An old love returning with promises of change, a secure but soulless job offer, or a comfortable habit calling you back. It will seem like a stroke of luck, but it is a classic hermetic trap. If you accept the old, you reject the new. If you go back out of fear, you definitively block your future. Sophia wants to see if you are still attached to your old shell, because that shell cannot enter the new dimension of consciousness. The second test is the trial of faith. Something will go wrong, an important plan will fail, or you will receive unfair and public criticism. This serves to verify whether your frequency depends on everything going well or if you are capable of remaining an emerald, even in total chaos. The diamond does not turn back into charcoal just because the pressure increases. If you collapse into victimhood, crystallization fails and the crystal cracks, requiring an entire new cycle to be repaired and consolidated. The third test is sacred isolation. You will feel deeply alone, not because people are missing around you, but because no one will seem to truly understand the depth of what you are experiencing. Old conversations will appear empty to you, former places will drain your energy, and you will have the strange sensation of having one foot in one dimension and one in the other. You will be tempted to return to the old tribe, just to avoid feeling the cold of loneliness. But this is the test of the Master's supreme autonomy. Masters walk alone until they meet other masters, and that kind of encounter is never a dependency, but a sacred partnership between equals. In this space of void that the ancient Egyptians called Nun, the primordial waters of chaos before creation, resides the maximum power of the universe. The void is not a lack of progress. It is the womb of creation where every form is still possible and where you can model your new reality from scratch. If you fill this void with anxiety, you will create deformed monsters. If you inhabit it with unshakable trust, you will create miracles that exceed your own egoic imagination, for in the void resides the power of the pure spirit. You must understand with extreme clarity that the final goal is not to have mystical visions, but to permanently alter your energy signature in the quantum field. Each of us emits a frequency 24 hours a day, a sort of vibrational fingerprint that determines what we attract and what we repel in our field of action. Before the emerald cycle, your signature was that of a confused seeker, a state that attracts only more seeking and other infinite processes, but never full realization. After crystallization, your signature changes to awakened sovereign, anchored in truth and guardian of their own frequency. This profound shift rewrites the way the entire world reacts to your presence. Animals will perceive your coherence, children will see the light in your eyes, and unstable people will automatically move away from your auric field. Sophia has worked for months to rewrite this permanent code, and now the work is finished in your cells. Do not try to shrink back, do not turn off your light because others feel uncomfortable, and do not hide who you have become for fear of judgment, for your light is now a common good for all humanity. There is a brutal truth you must listen to with an open heart. You cannot unsee what you have seen. Once you have awakened to multidimensional reality, you cannot go back to sleep without generating unbearable psychic suffering. Many attempt to return to the ignorant life of before because they are frightened by the responsibilities of expanded consciousness, but this creates devastating friction, like trying to put an adult back into the womb. There is a hermetic law called the law of finality. Once the maturation cycle is completed, the preceding state ceases to exist as a viable option for the soul. You can only advance toward the unknown or remain paralyzed in the pain of resistance. Sophia has sealed the door behind you to protect you, preventing you from fleeing your divine destiny every time the pressure of the world is felt. Do not look back with nostalgia for your old ignorance. The person you were died at the moment of the first activation. Honor the mourning of your old self and look resolutely ahead, for the only possible direction is the infinite expansion of your inner power and your light that knows no sunset. Now Sophia proposes a new contract to you, no longer of 40 days or a few months, but a contract for your entire life and beyond. It is an infinitely simple agreement with only one non-negotiable clause. I promise never to betray my consciousness to obtain the approval of the external world. If you lie to yourself, if you diminish yourself so as not to threaten others, or if you pretend to be less than you are out of laziness, you break the crystal and the diamond instantly turns back to charcoal. Maintaining the crystallized emerald frequency does not mean performing complex rituals, but living with radical integrity in every breath and every micro-choice. It means saying no when you feel no, even if you disappoint others' expectations, and following intuition even when it seems illogical to linear logic. Every small daily choice strengthens the crystal or creates micro-cracks that, if accumulated, lead to the collapse of the structure. There is no longer a middle ground. Either you are coherent at every moment of the day, or you are not truly crystallized. Sovereignty is not doing what one wants, but being so aligned with your higher self that your will becomes the perfect expression of divine will on earth, guiding you toward unshakable peace. Sophia now stops giving you direct orders and begins giving you subtle inspirations, elevating you from a follower to a co-creator of the planetary frequency. You have become a conscious partner in the mission to raise the vibration of the earth in this time of transition. To seal this crystallization irreversibly, you must perform a final physical act in the three-dimensional world, a symbolic sacrifice that indicates to the universe your total seriousness. Eliminate something from your life today that unequivocally represents your old self, an object you are morbidly attached to but which belongs to the past, a phone contact of a toxic person who drains your energy, or a habit you maintain only for a false sense of material security. Without this act of conscious elimination, the new energy has no space to fully anchor in your temple. You must empty your cup to make room for Sophia's nectar. No elaborate ceremonies are needed. A sharp and decisive gesture is enough to communicate to your cells, and to all the dimensions you have chosen, that you are definitively burning the bridges with the density of the past, opening yourself to a future of pure light. Feel the lightness that comes from this liberation. It is the signal that the cycle is closed and that you are finally ready for what comes next. Your reality will instantly reorganize around this commitment, for the universe always responds to the unshakable determination of a sovereign consciousness that has reclaimed its own emerald throne. You have gone through 40 minutes of dense hermetic teachings, you have felt every word resonate in your bones, and you know deep down that this is the inescapable truth. You can no longer pretend you do not know. Honor your path, honor the sacrifices made to get here, and honor the light that Sophia has lit in your temple. You have become a guardian of the frequency, an unbreakable point of light that will guide other beings toward their own liberation through silent example. Remember that your transformation is a sacred service to the whole world. Every cell you regenerate, every fear you transmute into gnosis, makes the awakening easier for all of humanity still groping in the darkness of the third dimension, offering a tangible hope of collective redemption. Finally, consider the power of the biological water flowing in you, making up over 70% of your body weight. During this emerald cycle, the molecular geometry of your internal fluids has been deeply restructured to resonate with the higher octaves. When you live in radical integrity, the water in your body forms perfect crystals that transmit signals of health, vitality, and youth to every organ. When you betray yourself, that water becomes chaotic and dense, accelerating cellular decay. Your inner coherence is literally the medicine for your body, a self-produced elixir flowing through your veins. You are not just a biological creature subject to time. You are a complex energetic antenna learning to tune into the higher harmonics of divine creation. Every time you choose truth over convenience, you are informing the matter of your temple that its nature is radiant, eternal, and indestructible. This epigenetic process is the true secret of the sage's longevity. It is not a gift of chance, but the result of a vibratory discipline that admits no exceptions or compromises with the shadow of the past, allowing you to age with the grace of a deity. Be the rigorous guardian of your energetic space. Protect your crystallization as the most precious treasure you possess in the entire universe, and watch with awe as life itself begins to dance to the rhythm of your new, magnificent emerald vibration. The portal behind you closes at this instant, but you are already on the other side, steady in your new dimensional reality, ready to reign over your life with a wisdom that does not belong to this world. Walk with your head held high, knowing that Thoth and Sophia walk by your side as equals, celebrating the sovereign you have finally accepted being. Your life is your masterpiece, and now you finally have the brush of sovereignty to paint your eternal glory in the infinite book of time. Welcome to the age of sovereignty. Welcome to your new crystalline self that shines with a light that no darkness can ever damage. Your mission is now to shine so intensely that every word becomes superfluous, you yourself becoming the living proof that ascension is a tangible, present, and glorious reality for anyone who has the courage to inhabit their truth. I thank you from the depths of my being, knowing that your presence and your conscious choice are the very foundation of this universal mission of collective awakening. Consecrate this monumental passage by leaving a like full of vibrant intention. Subscribe to this channel to anchor your belonging to our vanguard of sovereign initiates, and comment now with the key phrase, sovereignty activated, to seal your commitment before the energy witnesses of the quantum field. May your inner coherence be your inviolable beacon, guiding you toward the boldest, most radiant, and unlimited expression of your divine potential, while the abundance of Sophia Hakma floods your every regenerated cell. May your light shine beyond any temporal limit and your path be paved with miracles perfectly synchronized with your awakened will. Inhabit your glory and do not look back. See you soon.